Jack Kerouac said, "It's only through form that we can recognize emptiness."
How does nothing relate to creativity?
Creativity and nothing are linked. How can you bring something new into existence if you don't recognize that you have the choice and the opportunity to create something new? And where does that come from? How can you introduce something new if there isn't a space to introduce it into? If there isn't a flexibility in the world at all times, a dynamism, a movement. It seems to me that without nothing, everything would be frozen, paralyzed in place. And if you recognize that that not only is nothing there without your doing anything, that you can also create it by quieting yourself down from all the noise of everyday existence, all the distractions of everyday existence. You allow a place for something to arise in yourself. It's mysterious. I don't know how that works, but it is mysterious. And we can be creative. How do you create new life? I mean, bringing a child into a world, how do you create new life if there's not a space for new life to exist?
Are there any artistic images that capture this sense of nothing?
The Eastern image of the Tao is the most familiar of the representations of the circle with the paradox within it, light and dark. The circle itself, I mean, don't you puzzle about seeing the moon, the full moon, and you see the circle and you begin to wonder, why is the earth round, the moon round, the sun round, or the core of the sun round? What is the circle telling us? The circle is giving us form and emptiness at the same time. It's showing us boundary and emptiness at the same time. That's the most important image in nature. And it has been a symbol in cultures throughout time. It used to be considered the wheel of life, the circle, going round and round. What happens before you are born? What happens after you die? Life is a circle, a closed circle. I like the image of the graph. I think we dismiss that too easily, although even the graph has its earlier poetic expressions. In the net of Indra, for example, in Indian thought, how we are all connected and interconnected, and every intersection, which is a kind of point of love, reflects every other intersection. But the graph, if we take it in modern scientific, logical, straight line terms, shows how one thing becomes another in the image of a graph. You have plus on top and minus on bottom, and plus on the right and minus on the left, whether it's space, time, temperature, illness, whether it's a parabola or an oval or a chart that shows the stock market. It starts from a point, which they call the point of reckoning, but it's 0, 0. Seems to me that that tells you that 0 is part of every function in the world. Now, whether nothing is huge, like a huge universe of meaning, feeling, interiority, and exteriority, I don't know. Or whether it's a tiny, inner, evanescent, ever-present, but constantly appearing and disappearing minuteness, I don't know. But I feel its presence and its necessity.
In your book, you say that nothing is necessary. How is nothing necessary?
Nothing is necessary because everything in nature, so far as we know, has a positive and a negative. electrons and protons and all the other subdivisions of atomic particles have a plus and a minus, a matter and an antimatter, an energy and matter. Everything has its opposite. And it just seems to me absolute that opposites exist together, and that is the construction of the world in which we live. And we see it acting out in life every day. We see men and women, we see sickness and health, we see good and evil, we see beauty and ugliness, we see horror and radiance. It all goes together. That's why it seems necessary. But that's to me. The book, you don't have to be Buddhist to know nothing. The book is the testimony of geniuses and jokers, visionaries and poets throughout time, expressing both subjectively and objectively their observance of nothing in their lives. Emily Dickinson wrote, "By homely gift and hindered words, the human heart is told of nothing. Nothing is the force that renovates the world."